only with a bit more roasting, probably getting a bit more toasted, and it's only us two. And I'm Brently, I bring the crazy, while Benjamin provides the puns. We're not afraid to say it plainly. We're a couple anti-fascist dudes fighting right-wing extremist views. The Progressive House Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Progressive Pals Podcast. I'm Brently, and here with me we've got a special guest. We've got Michael Wiseman from the Bible Says What? What's going on, man?
Hey, man, that's a great intro. Did you write and sing that yourself?
I did.
That's
Yeah,
I head bobbing.
Right.
Thanks for having me, man.
The old punk feel, you know.
Yeah, love it.
Well, yeah. Well, it's, how you been, man? You been doing pretty good?
Fantastic. Staying busy always. You?
Yeah, being busy, like you said.
New show.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, this is a new show. And
Congrats.
yes, and I'll be going on to your show right after this, so this will be a lot of fun.
Two-parter.
Yeah. So make sure you go over to his show, everybody, once it comes out. But yeah, tell me a little bit about The Bible Says What. So I've listened to several of these. And man, I gotta say, I enjoy they're not really debates, so like you're just having like a talk with these people. But you tend to be like needling at certain things. Like what is your strategy as far as like these conversations go?
Chaos is my strategy, but a little,
It's a
structured chaos. I that's the world I live in. But it's so much fun. I base it off a conversation because I hate debates. I hate that formal, this person has to read what they're going to say, then this person has to read and they get 10 minutes and, well, you can't answer any questions. Like, fuck that, man. I want to have a conversation. What do you believe? Why do you believe that? That doesn't make any sense. Let's reverse and talk about that, stuff like that. And my strategy is I know a little bit about my guests. I dive into their books or their podcasts or whatever they've got. And I just kind of base it off of there. I write down some notes. It never goes that way. Not once has my conversation gone the way I wanted it to like kind of go. I find something it's a wormhole. It's a riptide. I call them riptides now. It's my new little thing, but it sucks you out there, man. You're on your path. You're doing it. And then you're out to sea and who knows where we're going now.
It's all over. But that's how like a lot of my interviews are. Honestly, I have like a set list of questions. Like, well, we're completely off of this shit now. Might as well throw this out. Whatever.
Exactly. That's what I love about it, man. It's just that structured chaos and just you never know where they're going to go.
And you kind of got to be ready for certain things, right? Like you got to kind of know. I mean, first of all, the Bible pretty well, right? Like
decent. I mean, there's still so much I need to learn, like, and stuff I keep forgetting. Like I get so much in there, it falls out. That's why I have notes.
Right. Yeah. And like the verse and, the Bible verse and chapter and all that shit. And you're just like, how am I supposed to remember all this?
Right. I'm terrible with numbers, man. I get dyslexic all over the place. It doesn't work for me. So I definitely have to write it down. Definitely.
Oh, that's good. See, I mean, and I bet a one that you do use a lot, though, is that, what is it, 1 Timothy
3:16?
Yeah. They have to have a defense.
Oh, that one. I think that's Peter.
3:15.
Yeah. 1 Peter 3:15, where they have to have a defense for what they believe and whatnot. I think the 1 Timothy one is the Bible's God breathed, inspired, and all that shenanigans.
Oh,
see, now you can make sure I'm correct on this.
I'm already mixing them up, man.
The Bible is. See, I got an Evernote. Is an amazing. I love it. I got my notebooks, and inside each notebook is verses, and it's all labeled, and it's ready for me to do battle. Let's see. It is 2 Timothy 3:16. All scripture is God breathed and useful for teaching, preaching, rebuking, training in righteousness, and all that shenanigans. See, correct myself in real time.
Wow, that's impressive. All right. The numbers fuck me up, man. Like I know what the Bible says, but once you start trying to slap numbers on it, I'm lost. I'm like,
nope.
I don't.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's so much fun. There's so much in there. And that's what's so great about this. My collection of stuff I have here is they can go off any topic and I have something for that. So, I mean, they can throw anything they want at me. Although I have had guests throw stuff at me. It just totally caught me off guard. I had that one guy, Evans or Ethan, something, told me my kid deserved hell, like just flat out. My kid deserves to go to hell. And that kind of stopped me in my tracks. I totally lost focus, got angry.
Yeah, I can imagine. Holy shit. I mean, yeah, I mean, because a lot of them will say that eventually, right? But it's like they tiptoe around it at least a little bit.
Yeah.
But
No,
at
he was
the
just
end of the
flat
day,
out. He's like, yeah, your kid deserves. It's like he was nonchalant about it. Just pissed me off even more. It's just like, ugh, gross.
That's the worst.
Yeah. And you have kids, and you had kids. Oh, it's terrible.
How could you? I mean, could you imagine having kids and thinking right out the gate they're like deserve hell?
Right?
How fucking weird, man.
Weird, totally weird. And it's your job to save them from that thing that they deserve. What? Why can't the guy who's gonna? Why can't the Invisible Man come down and show them? Anyways,
right? Yeah. Why do they? Yeah. That's a very, and I noticed you bring that up like quite a bit, and I appreciate that because you're like, why do I have to hear this from you?
Right?
Why can't your God come and just talk to me?
Where is he? It's in the Bible. There's plenty of places people get, God comes and talks to them. I talked to hundreds of Christians. God talks to me. God selected me. God did this. Well, where is he for me? Why is he choosing you and not me? Did I fuck something up was it my blasphemy? Maybe it was my blasphemy. That might have been it.
That's it. Now
he no longer cares.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, and I bet you that's like a response they probably say, like, well, yeah, he gave you over to a reprobate mind or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's his will for me. His will for me is to burn, apparently. So what a great guy. I don't know why anybody would want to worship that. It's so weird. So weird.
That's a mystery right there. Like, I don't understand that one, honestly. Because whether or not it exists, is one thing, but whether or not you'd worship it, that's another thing entirely.
Right. Like, and you tell them I wouldn't worship anything. Oh, you worship the world. No, dude, that's not the same thing. I'm not going, and worshiping things, bowing down to it's ridiculous. It's two different things. And then an invisible man on top of that. It's so weird. A documented child killer. It's an invisible documented child killer. And they're like, yeah, let's all bow down. Let's all this is great. No. Right. He's loving. Yeah, he's loving.
Oh yeah, that's the frustrating part where it's like, and where they redefine words too, where they'll say like, it's complete freedom, right? And it's like freedom to do exactly what God wants me to do at all times. You've totally just nullified what that word means completely.
Yeah. No, Daniel 4:35, God is in heaven. He does as he pleases with the peoples of heaven and the peoples of the earth, or the powers of heaven when the peoples of the earth. We are regarded as nothing. That's what the Bible tells us. That's what we are to God. We are regarded as nothing. And when you see it throughout the whole Bible, I mean, obviously he's drowning his own kids. He's killed those people over there. Spend your eternity in pit of fire. Yeah. Great guy. Such a great guy.
Right. But then he cares if you masturbate. Like, that's really
and he watches.
He watches.
He's not just mad, but he's mad and watching you do it. Damn it, Brently. Get your hands out of there.
In the shower again. God.
It's your 5th time today. It's going to go raw.
I'm going to hurt it.
Yeah. Just went south. Riptide, man. Riptide. See?
Exactly. See? So I mean, but out of curiosity, have you had a conversation with anybody? I was going to say like what that really upset you, but you kind of went over that one a little bit.
There's a couple, yeah.
But that really kind of threw you off. Were there any where you're like, well, where you like, did they sound convincing at all? Like, were there like anywhere it like actually you're like, okay, I could see where they're coming from?
Not a one. Not a one. It's so sad, man. Their arguments are all the same. They're weak. They have no back on it, and it all just ends up with a feeling. I can't get behind a feeling that you had that's convincing to you. That makes no sense to me. I don't have feelings that are convincing to me that there's invisible people everywhere. That's so weird. That's so weird to me. Yeah,
that is. So, you're right, and it's like all the time too. Like there's just invisible like things like all over the. Yeah, that freaked me out as a kid. I remember just being like, "Wait, you're telling me there's demons and angels all around me right now?"
Frank Peretti, man. Did you ever read Frank Peretti?
Oh yeah, Prophet and in this present,
this scared the crap out of me, man.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Demons fluttering over his head and stuff, man.
And he didn't even. I remember reading a YA book that was kind of like Indiana Jones. And it was like the Devil's Door or something. And you had to like
that. Oh, there was a whole series of like 3 of them.
Yeah.
There was a bunch. Remember that.
That's so wild.
That's gonna
Yeah,
bug
that's
me.
great. You remember
That was
that?
this kid series. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
That's
my
so
mom
funny.
like loved Frank Peretti, dude. And then
Yeah,
like,
same. I think we have the
no
same
shit.
mom. I think we discussed this before.
I know, right? They're almost the same. We have the same experience. It's great. Um,
Crazy.
but yeah, he did. Did you ever see the movie that he did, The Hangman's Curse? Uh,
No.
oh,
I
that was
might haven't
hilarious.
forgotten about it, but I gotta check that out. Hangman's Curse, writing it down.
Yeah, definitely watch that. And then after you watch it, check out the God Awful movies on it. It's phenomenal.
Of
It's
course
really
they did.
it's so good.
Of course they did.
And Frank
Awesome.
Peretti's even in it at the one point. He's like, one of the
What?
characters in it. So yeah, that was
Wow.
really
He M.
cool.
Night Shyamalan did it, didn't he?
And it's and honestly, bringing his name up. It's very similar to that. Like it has a
Oh, no
huge twist
way.
at the end, and it's fun. I as a
Can't wait.
skeptic atheist, I honestly loved it. I thought it was adorable, and it's stupid, and like the Christian stuff's dumb, but I loved it. It was
Well,
so
yeah,
fun.
no. Yeah, it's those guilty pleasure things. I'm totally gonna check it out. I can't wait. And then the God Awful
Yeah,
movies, of course.
right. Yeah. Oh
Awesome.
man, yeah. But that's too funny. So, how many? Where are you at now? How many are you on now of these conversations?
I'm working on episode 163 right now.
Wow.
But episode 162, I think, just came out. It's hard to keep track. There's so many. And
Yeah.
it's all just sitting here. Yes,
Holy shit.
62 came out. 63 is about to come out. I have 64 I'm working on as well. And then, it just because it comes out every week and I got so many things to do. I'm so busy all the time.
Right.
It's
And
nice
then
to catch
and
ahead,
right. So okay, and that's what I was gonna say. How do you like? So do you get like ahead? Like you do so many
I try.
conversations, just like record it whenever you can, and then just stack them
Yeah.
up and then put them out.
Yeah. That's where I'm at
Okay.
right now. I'm trying to get stay 2 or 3 ahead. So if I can, I want to take a week off or something, hey, Mike's going to take a week off here.
Yeah, and
So,
nobody would know. We'd all be
and
like,
nobody would
"Oh no,
know. It
he's
would
still
just keep
working."
flowing. You're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my
Oh, that's
plan
fun.
eventually, but it's hard to catch up. So we'll see. We'll see.
Damn, that is a lot of conversations. Yeah, you'd think at some point one of these would trip you up a little bit, and be like,
Well,
"No, this."
you would think. I don't know. It's so weird. I mean, it's really hard to argue for the inexcusable, for sure. I mean, they worship a documented child killer who's invincible or invisible. I mean, it's just maddening. So weird. So weird.
What a
But no, I mean,
weird.
episode 1 is 100% different than episode 162. Like I have traveled so far in this, just doing this. You learn, you make mistakes, a ton of them, by the way, ton of them. You just
Oh,
keep
shit.
going. You just hope nobody noticed, and you just keep making more episodes.
Right. I
But
was gonna
yeah,
say
dude,
because
yeah,
so you're kind of learning from what you're doing before, and I think that's like
yeah,
so that's very beneficial as you're moving forward because you'll be like, oh, I remember getting messed up by this before, and now I have like a mechanism to like
absolutely, yeah,
combat
yeah.
that. Yeah.
I've had programs crash on me where I wasn't able to make my videos and it was a thing. I started off reading, I still have there, Podcasting for Dummies, and then I just
Oh,
jumped in. It's like,
oh
I
no,
got this.
That's good. I see. Yeah,
Oh,
I did like almost basically the same thing. I just didn't even read anything. I was just like, I can do this. This is easy. And then no, the fuck, it's not. Everybody just makes it
no,
sound easy.
it's so
That's the thing.
difficult to come up with material every week, man. Yeah, for sure. But I love the
Yeah,
writing process. I think that's my favorite part, honestly.
really. Yeah,
Yeah, like
and you
writing
do
my
like.
intros and stuff that goes along with the guests. Yeah,
Yeah, because you do like a little kind of intro, like where you're just kind of hanging out with us, the
yeah.
audience, and uh, I like that. That's cool. And then you're like, all right, here's the conversation,
Yeah,
and
let's start
yeah,
the show, man. Yeah, for sure. I love it. It gives me a unique opportunity to step outside the conversation, write about the conversation. As 'cause sometimes I can't just belt all this to everybody my guests, but I can actually think about it later and go, I should have said. And here's the
right.
Bible verse that goes with that. So a lot of times that's what happens there. It's a lot of fun.
So
It's
it's
fun.
actually after the fact at the beginning. Is that what it is?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, all
I
right.
write it after the conversation. So
Huh, that's cool. So you give like a little preview of what you
yeah.
know is about to happen.
A lot
That's
of times
cool.
it's correcting myself. Guess what I got wrong this time? And I gotta a
Right.
lot of
Oh
times that
shit.
happens. Because you're in that conversation, you're in the flow of it, and you're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And you wait, that's not what that said, but it's too past its time, and if you go back to it, it's weird. Just save it for the intro.
Yeah, yeah. That's see. I love doing like these like I do some of these types of conversations too. Usually more around political.
Yeah.
stuff, which is which is almost dumb. I should just stick with like the Bible stuff because that's what I know. You
Yeah.
know,
Political's
um,
tough, man. It's a tough arena.
it's
So
it's all
much.
memorizing facts, and then just having these facts to combat those facts, and how well we know these facts are actually facts.
Right.
That's the majority of it right there.
That's maddening.
It is, yeah. And so, like, one of my facts, they've got 17 of theirs, and I'm like, I have no idea if any of those are real.
And you have to take time to counteract each individual one. It's like, man. And then they're like, just watch this YouTube video. I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch your YouTube video. I'm sorry. That's not how it works.
No, please never send me YouTube. Articles all day long. I'll read articles, but not fucking YouTube. I hate that
But
shit.
Joe Bob said in his basement, he said, watch this video. He's really smart.
Yeah. He knows about the economy, man. Like, Jesus. Yeah.
He's 12. He's been there.
Yeah. It's like, I'd much rather just be like, no, I'm not convinced that your religion thing is true. Like, that's so
right.
And more
Here's a Bible
fun,
verse to show you.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy peasy.
All right. But so is there like you said, I can't remember who it was. You said you had a big timer too. It was like was it Kent Holbein? Is that what it was?
Greg Locke. What's
Greg
that
Locke,
slimy
dude,
dodgeball guy? What's that dodgeball guy that I can't remember his name right now. Matt Slick. There it is.
Yeah. Oh, you got Matt Slick. Oh,
yeah, I had both of those.
Okay.
I don't, honestly, I did a decent job, but I don't think I was ready. I think
yeah.
I should have waited maybe another year or so. I'll try it. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to get Greg Locke because he's too crazy right now.
He's
maybe
quite popular. Yeah, Matt Slick,
weird, man.
So weird. It's almost like entertaining. I have to say, like, I'm like, oh, there's a new Greg Locke video. Like, I actually weirdly get excited about it. Like, it's not normal.
I put him up there with kind of like an Alex Jones right now. Like, he is just becoming so over the top and crazy, and just his little following. I don't know, man. It's getting kind of scary. All this Christian nationalism crap.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Did you see that there was like this prayer? Like, it was like they did this prayer. And it was like the Patriots of Faith prayer, and they had everybody in the stadium like repeat it and chant it kind of. It was the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. And it's all about like Christian nationalism. Like, they're talking about like wanting to take over. I think it's dominionist, I think is what it's called.
Wow.
And it's like they want to take over the government and everything. And like, because religion's on the decline, right? And so they're like, how do we make everybody be religious? Well, we force them, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
make the fucking laws. Yeah. Scary.
And that's where we're at. I mean, we're in the States here, so we just had like Roe v. Wade repealed, or basically, overturned. And now it's just up to the states. And so you got half the states have already banned it.
Yeah.
And it's basically them just wanting to force everybody to live in accordance to their religion, whether they're of that religion or not.
And it's disgusting. And I don't want to live by your magical book. Please, let's not be conformed to a book with slavery, child killing, rape. I mean, no, I don't want to get my morals and my logic from there, please. You can. You just keep it to yourself. But the rest of us, we'd rather, base it on reality.
Yeah, and that's honestly all I'm asking. Like, just base your shit off reality, man.
But the problem is they don't live in reality.
Yeah,
I've said it. Christians live in a fantasy world that's ruled by faith. Faith is nothing more than make believe. They use their make believe. That's the same thing I did as a kid. I used to pretend the world was a dino world, and they'd all like take me to school, and my bed was like walk me to the bathrooms, and like. This was my world. Dino Riders was huge for me when I was a kid. I don't know if you remember Dino Riders, but man, they were the shit.
Oh yeah, no.
I use my faith, my make believe to pretend I live in this world. They do the same thing. They talk to an invisible man. They're using faith to pretend that he's really there in the room, but there's nothing there.
I remember how people that would put like a chair and you'd go to sit go over to their. Do you remember that? And like you go over to their house to eat dinner and no, that's Jesus's chair.
That's Jesus' chair. Yeah. Oh yeah.
What? Talking about? Now looking back, I'm like, wow, that was batshit insane.
So weird, man. It's so weird, and they don't see it as weird. Like I like to point that out. Like, dude, that's weird. And they're like, well, when you put it like that, yeah, when you put it like that, I mean, that's what it is. It's an invisible person sitting in a chair, but you don't know he's there. You have to use make believe to put him there. Ugh,
Yeah,
Christianity is insanity.
It's their familiarity with
absurdity,
it. Like that's
not insanity. They're not insane. They're just
it's
absurd.
Good point. Yeah, yeah, because insanity is an actual like thing. I don't know. I mean, sometimes they cross over quite a bit, but
well, that's a. I mean, anybody who's a parent crosses over to insanity every once in a while. That's how it works. Right? Daily thing sometimes.
Right. But yeah, and it's I don't know. It's like talking to somebody that's from a different world. Like you said, like
where there's different rules and different laws and different unbelievable things actually happening, like invisible wars from angels and demons. Like, first off, why is there a war? Why can't God just like, hey, stop fighting? Why are we fighting? Why is everybody dying? I am one of the most powerful creature. Fuck off. Stop it. And let's move on.
Yeah, like so get this. I was talking to this one guy and he was saying that there are other gods, right? But they're not as powerful, right? And
I love that.
Their God, his God is the most powerful, right? And so then all the other gods, that's why there are, because I asked that same question, I'm like, why doesn't God just like shut it all down?
That's fantastic.
He's the most powerful. And he's like, well, there are other gods and they're like fighting over stuff, And so like I'm like, what? So they're slightly less powerful? So it's like Thor, like what do you want? Like fighting Thanos? Like what's happening? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's the funny thing is that if it's Yahweh, if his God is Yahweh, the ruler of everything, that wasn't first. I mean, yeah, he came from the Canaanite religions, but there's other religions that came before his that have other gods. So why are the original gods, those OG motherfuckers, why aren't they the most powerful? Why does Yahweh get all the power? That doesn't make any sense. None at all.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's go to the Hindu gods. Hindu gods are the OG gods. They should be, I don't understand. If you have a religion that predates yours and a god that predates yours, take as much time as you need. Take as much time as you need. Just keep thinking about that.
It'd have to be, they'd have to either be stronger or more true.
Right.
Right.
Like, yeah. Kali Ma, man. Way more true than Yahweh.
Right. And there's a bunch of them too, which just seems to make more sense anyway.
And they're all more badass than Yahweh. All of them.
Everyone.
Yahweh's a whiny, sniveling little brat who wants his toys to do what he wants, and they don't, and he gets all mad, so he drowns them. Like, it's a child.
Have you ever looked at the infantile? Was the infant gospel of Thomas or something like that?
No.
You read that? No. It's so
I'm writing that one down too.
Yeah, definitely check that shit out. It's entertaining. I don't know how much good it'll do in a conversation with these folks, but
you never know.
Yeah, it's so they're part of the Gnostic gospels, and it's just all this shit like in between, and it's just fascinating because he's like, Jesus is sort of like Dennis the Menace because it's when he's growing up, and he keeps on killing his like masters that are like trying to like teach him.
Oh,
and he kills them, and it'll bring them back to life. It's weird, like it's it's bizarre.
But there is a book. It's called Lamb. It's by Christopher Moore. I love this book. It's like a different story of Jesus. It's from the Biff. The story, I think it was Biff, the disciple was Biff, was his story of Jesus. And it starts off with Jesus like killing lizards, putting them in his mouth and bringing them back to life, killing them again, and putting them back in his... It's a great story. It's so funny. At one point, Jesus learns Kung Fu. I'm not going to give any more away. It's such a great book. It's so much fun.
I will definitely check that out. That'll be
Lamb. I have the Bible looking version of it. It's so cool. It's so much fun.
Hell yeah. Well, and that's what always got me too, because I was just like, why is it these gospels and not those? Because like there was a one gospel that was just added, or that was just taken away. It was part of the canon up until but up until about 100 years ago, which was the Apocalypse of Peter, and then it was removed 100 years ago. So that means out of like the 2,000 years, that was canon, like that, and then all of a sudden it's not.
Well, it's too crazy. It sounds too crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, how does a perfect God do that? That's another question.
Great one. Yeah. How does a perfect God get a book full of so much inconsistencies and then have to take stuff out, add stuff in? I mean, I could be wrong, but weren't the Gnostic Gospels first? Wasn't that like the first idea? And then they, apparently lost
right.
out.
Well,
I could be wrong. Lost Christianity. Smart Urban.
They're right, yeah, with Bart exactly, and I think there was just a bunch of different ones, right? But they couldn't find any that were
Yeah,
consistent with one another, and so the Gnostic ones were all the ones that weren't, like, consistent with everything.
gotcha.
Like, the 4 that they got were the most consistent with one another,
So
right? And
funny.
they figured they
And they're
probably
still not.
plagiarized it. Yeah, and
They're
they're still not even
still batshit crazy. That doesn't make
yeah,
any sense. Yeah.
and they change things from book to book, which is
Of
just
course.
obnoxious.
Obnoxious. Yeah, but it makes more research. Come on, just make it similar so I don't have to do as much research. No, how did
Right.
Jesus die? Which way did he die? What day did he die? What did he say? Who was with him? All these different things. None of it adds up. When you tell a
And
Christian,
none of it.
well, it's all the basic story. Jesus came back from the dead. That's all that matters. No, it doesn't. It can't be a perfect book if it doesn't go together.
Right,
If you had a math
exactly.
book that told you 2 + 2 is 12, you wouldn't trust the math book.
They'd be like,
Christians
"Which
are like,
version is that?"
yeah.
"Oh, hold on, which version of the math book?" "Is that the King James math book? 'Cause I don't do it."
The new King James math book, actually. The new
They
revised
took Jesus
new.
out a couple times. Jesus. I remember, like,
Ridiculous.
these people it was so weird. I went to this one church for a bit, and they, like, got angry at me and, like, threw my Bible out, in the trash because it wasn't a old King James version. And, like,
Wow.
yeah, they were like, "That thing's garbage, man. It's of the devil," because they took the name of Jesus out, like, so many times or whatever, you know?
Throw it away anyways. Get a new one. You
Yeah,
got it online.
yeah. Exactly, yeah, I'm not
BibleGateway.com.
but I just remember feeling bad at the time, though. You're like, "Oh, man, I'm sorry. I didn't realize the Bible I had was the wrong one."
Yeah.
Like, how do you make people feel
Yeah.
guilty over shit like that? That's incredible.
The most ridiculous things, man. And then they'll even persecute you or judge you for thought crimes too, you know. So it's not
Yeah.
just the wrong Bible, it's even thinking about the wrong thing. So ridiculous. So ridiculous.
It's too much, you know?
It's too much.
So
Yeah. it's,
wow,
it's a
yeah.
big book full of nonsense. And I love to talk to Christians about their big book full of nonsense.
So, yeah, exactly, and you do, you talk to, like, Christians a lot. Do you,
Hmm.
like, ever get out of, Christianity too often, or do you ever, like, go to, like, Islam or anything like that?
Not yet. I mean, I've been asked if I'm going to do like the Book of Mormon or anything like that. I have talked to a few Mormons. I basically stick to what I know. There's enough in there to keep me busy. I mean, I don't need to learn another book. I
Right,
don't have time
yeah,
for
see,
all
that's
that.
a lot of work.
I'll stick to my one thing. Just have the Bible says what. Let's go with that. Now, somebody else, you're more than welcome to do the Quran says what. My
Right.
blessings are on you. Spider-Man bless you.
Right, there you go. Yeah, the Spider-Man thing I love too, because that was such a good point, you know, always because 'cause they're like, "But the cities are the same," and you're like, "Yeah, but the okay."
Yeah.
So, the cities are the same in Spider-Man, like,
Yeah. Oh,
you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying
New York's a real place. Doesn't mean Spider-Man's real. Although now I've started to
exactly.
worship Spider-Man and really piss him off. It's great. Spider-Man is more moral than your God. Spider-Man wouldn't drown children.
Oh, that's a
Spider-Man
good
tries to save the bad guy instead of punishing the bad guy. You know? So there's so
oh,
many
wow, yeah.
aspects you can go with that. I love it. And they're just like, meh.
Wow, that's such a good point. I didn't realize you're right. If you any kind
Yeah.
of metric for morality, like, he's got him beat.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Absolutely. He's the ultimate good guy at this point. And Yahweh
yeah,
looks like an asshole. I mean,
then by comparison, yeah.
yeah. And you can't win. You can't win against Spider-Man. He wins every time.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's my favorite, honestly. Of all the superheroes out there, he's the
I
coolest.
did have him on the microphone here, but he keeps falling off.
Oh,
Trying to
nice.
fix
Oh yeah.
it. I'll glue him
You
back
even
there one
have
day.
graven images. Um,
I do it now down to it. I can see Spider-Man. See, he's right there. Jesus, I can't.
right?
Doesn't show
Oh
up.
man, that's too funny. Yeah, you can do a lot with that. Shit.
Yeah,
I
so
because I
much.
mean, because have you heard that a lot where they're like saying like the cities are like so when it comes to like the
Yes, yes.
historicity
It's
of
it's evidence of it. Yeah. No, just
that's
because it has some true things in it doesn't mean it's real. Islam has true things in it doesn't mean it's real. I mean, come on, guys. Let's follow through with everything, not just your religion. I mean,
right. Yeah, because
I
that's a
mean,
good point.
comic
Like,
books. I love comic books. You got your good and bad. There's so many good stories in there that are better than the Bible stories you can even use to point out who a hero is and what a hero is. I mean, you read the Bible, is Yahweh really the hero of the story? Or is the antagonist? Or the child who's upset that his toys aren't loving him or believing in him? I mean, it's so easy. Even Batman's a better superhero than Yahweh.
Ooh, and he's rough too.
And he's rough.
He's just a billionaire that just beats up mentally ill people, really. I mean, if you think about it.
Especially the new Robert Pattinson guy, the Sparkles. I call him Sparkles the Vampire.
Yeah.
Even he's rougher and tougher than Yahweh.
Right. And more consistent. You know? I mean, there's no way. How do you look at the Old Testament and the New Testament and go, this is the same God?
You can't.
Like, you know,
you have to change it. And that's what they do. They change it. They change the narrative. They change the stories. They're like, well, this means this. I'm like, no, verbatim, this is what it says. Well, that's not what it meant. You have to look at the context. Dude, come on. It says he drowned them. We regret making them. Well, the context of the time. And you got to think it was meant for other people. It wasn't meant for us. Oh, my God. It's in there. You use it to back up your things for now. You go into Old Testament like Psalms. They'll say stuff in Psalms, but we'll pick and you're the cherry picker. I'm not a cherry picker. You know,
right?
It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Oh my God, yeah, and that's frustrating too. I can only imagine like the folks that will sit there and try to make it say something else than what it actually says on the page.
It's maddening.
That's frustrating.
One dude refused to tell me. I said, "Who sent the rainwater to kill the kids?" And he said, they did. No, oh my God,
did.
God said that. He would not admit it. It was so crazy. It was just his face. They sent it. They did it to themselves. Dude, they didn't send rain to themselves. Somebody else, higher power, had to do this.
Right. And how would they have known at the time? Anyway, geez, because
it's so bad.
You see the paintings and stuff, and they're always like naked. Like everybody's just like got caught in the middle of an orgy when they found out, oh shit, it's raining.
Where's this water coming from?
Yeah, exactly. But how would they have known not to do that? Like, of course we're gonna like fuck, you know. That's just
also are there no other boats at the time? Nobody had a boat. Noah's the first one to come up with the idea of a boat. Right. Doubtful. Very doubtful.
And I've heard the answer is yes.
Well, it has to be for the story to work.
Boat.
It's insanity. I don't
really
get it.
Nobody thought to cross water. Like, no, they just stayed right where they were at. What? No. Jesus Christ. Oh, fucking weird.
So many holes. And the deeper you go, the more pushback you get. That's the Jesus wall, I call it. You hit a wall, man. It's that Jesus. You can't break it. You can't. You find little pinholes you can try and poke at it, but that Jesus wall is pretty strong for most of them.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, they know what they think. They just don't. I think a lot of it is they don't. When you start to pick at the why, like why you think what you think, and they still know that they think the thing. They just like, and then they're like, well, I still think it. You know what I mean? And that they're always going to end on that.
Why is the most powerful question you can ask, and when it just why that? But why though? Well, why? And you get all the way down to why do you feel this feeling is more real to you than a relationship with a real person? And they can't answer things like that. Well, why did your God let the bad guy run? They can't answer things like that. Oh, that's a good one. Cantankerous Catholic. You ever heard of that guy?
Cantankerous Catholic?
He promised to be on the show. He was on the show. I haven't aired the episode, but screw it. He doesn't want me to air the episode. He got very upset. I asked him, why would his God create evil? I asked him flat out, why do you believe he did it and why was this a good thing? He would not answer it. He says, well, that'll take 20 days for me to explain it to you, the basis of it. I said, well, you teach this to other people. You can teach it to me in like a couple of minutes or just give me your idea. No, refuse. Dude got so mad he hung up and then writing me, I don't want you to air this. You made me sound stupid. I'm like, dude, I just asked questions. If you couldn't answer it, that's not on me.
That's too funny.
I get that a lot.
People just like so you have had like entire recording sessions that you've had to scrap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some of them I will anonymously put on my Patreon feed as bonus episodes.
Good way to do that. Yep.
So
you're not gonna know.
Yeah, and you agreed to be on the show. It's not my fault you didn't look into it. I had a conversation with somebody last week. He agreed to be on the show. He actually looked into the show, but he said he was going to do it before looking into the show. Then he noticed the A. Where am I? The A on my logo looked a little weird, he said. So he started to look into the show.
It's anarchy? What is the symbol here?
I don't get it. Why is it capital and rad? I don't like rad.
Oh god. Yeah, that's like the I guess it is like what, like the national symbol for atheists or international
Yeah.
symbol for atheism.
Kind of made it look like a
Um,
little like a coffee stain. I love that.
there you
Looks like a
go.
coffee
Yeah.
stain right there.
Right.
Atheist. The Bible says
Hell yeah.
what?
That's perfect. Oh man. Oh, that's a good point. Do you remember the did you listen or did you see the old Hitchens debates that were
Oh yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
popular for a minute?
That's I really started doing a lot of that research when I first started thinking, wow, this might not be real, you know. And thankfully, there was Hitchens out there, and a lot of those debates. Again, I hate debates. I got to fast forward, and I don't like waiting. I'm very impatient.
Yeah.
But I did watch
Did-
a lot of them. It really helped me think, man, yeah, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And then I got his book. I read that, and kind of your baby atheist steps right there.
Right. Yeah. Because I came into it late. So like all of the podcasters and stuff that were like who got me into it. So and then I'm hearing everybody else is like, oh, I got into it because of Hitchens, and Hitchens
Yeah.
debates and everything, and
There was a lot.
Dawkins and all.
It wasn't just, yeah, exactly. There was a lot of people into it, and then podcasting had just started. Same thing. There was a guy, atheist on air. I don't know if you remember him, but he had a show. He would like a 4-hour show sometimes, and it was out of a trailer park. It was hilarious. It was so
Holy
much fun.
shit.
I loved his show, and that was like the first podcast I really got into that was kind of anti-religious, and I learned a lot from him. And he gave me some stickers and sent me a letter and whatnot. It was really cool. But yeah, you have your people that get you into it, the people that keep you going. Smalley was another one that really helped me out a lot.
Yep.
With
Yeah.
the conversation part of it. Kind of
Yeah. Because he kind of, you're right. He didn't really do. I mean, he did do debates. Like I have seen him on stage do
Yeah.
actual, like like you said, the 10 minutes here and whatever they're called, the rules of David, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I can't ever remember what they're called. It's like some Harvard rules of whatever. I don't fucking know. Yeah, but he would do more like the conversation, like how you do. Although I'd argue that I like yours better because you're a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, he was so. That's how I started off too. Is I was less aggressive, but I would be poignant about my questions in my search in the Bible verses. But I
Right.
definitely felt he was a little soft on him. Like it was too friendly. Like I can still be friendly, but ask you why you worship an invisible man at the same
Right.
time. And
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the difference between us and. But no, Smalley's great though. He's a great for what he does.
Yeah.
And just I'm a little different.
Yeah, and I'm always, of the notion that it takes all of us, you know what I mean? It takes the Matt
Yes.
Dillahunties, it takes the Smalleys, it takes you need all of us to do this.
Every bit. Yeah.
And that way we're not like, there is nobody doing it like better or worse than anybody else. It's just it takes us all because each of us are more convincing to different people.
Yeah.
That might watch these debates.
I think of it like a stone in a river. That the atheism is that stone. We've dropped it in the river, and each one of us is a ripple that's creating that tidal wave that's coming. And I'm part of that ripple, and I'm very proud. And so are you. We're all part of that ripple, man. I'm so proud to be part of that ripple. That tidal wave is coming, whether they're gonna beat us down or kill us, but we're coming.
Yeah, that's it.
I will not go quietly into the night, man. To quote one of the
yeah.
best presidents ever from Independence Day.
Well, yeah. the fake one. That does. That's okay.
It was the best speech, man. I love that speech.
I know.
Such a riveting one.
Why can't real presidents give speeches like that? It's just,
well, we're usually not being taken over by alien forces, so I mean that.
So I guess there's pluses and minuses on this, both ways around.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's too funny. So, what is your story? When did you come to start questioning things? Like, what was?
Grew up in the church, holy rollers, man. We were lay your hands on people, and I detail some of it in my book. The Bible says what, just like the show. It was a lot of you're sinful, you're not worthy, you're broken. I'll break it down, man. I remember youth group. They keep going until you were crying on the ground, begging for forgiveness. That's where they wanted you. It was terrible, man.
Terrible.
I still struggle with crap because of that. But I mean, I'm out of it. And it was great. I started reading the Bible. I kind of just left it alone for a little bit in the end of my teenage years, early 20s. I just left it alone. And then I had a friend who just kind of started like talking shit on religion like I used to remember George Carlin used to do. And I was like, hey, yeah, you look into this. I started looking into it. I started looking at where the Bible came from. well, that's weird. That's not kind of what I thought it was going to come from. And then I started looking into the religion itself, and then you got Hitchens and all those videos and stuff that just kind of helped push me along. Reading, man, I was reading like 3 books at once. Not that I remember anything I read. I still did it.
Right.
But just any knowledge I could get, I was sucking it in, man. And then I started writing on my own. I went through the Bible, Genesis to the end, and I started writing little things out. I'm like, yeah, okay, now I'm starting to write a book. This is for real now. And
Right.
I struggled. Should I put the book out first, or should I put the podcast out first? Because both ideas pretty much came at the same time. And I said, you know what? I have to get this podcast out. I'm already talking to pastors. I'm calling them up. I'm in the fucking closet with a recorder. Yeah. Okay. So why do you worship this guy? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, I had to do this. It was going to happen regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Man. So
the podcast did end up coming out first, huh?
it did. And it was about a year later or 2 years later, the book actually came out, and I had it published through McAfee, David McAfee, I think his name is. His publishing company actually picked it up and threw it out there for me, which was really cool. It sucks with the cover. I can't stand the cover. I still hate the cover to this day. But,
Really?
I mean, they chose it, and I didn't really get much say, but there it is. It's my book. Everything inside is mine, though.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Well, hey, everybody needs to go to, how do they get your book?
TheBibleSaysWhat.com, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I think I'm on that Thrift Books at this point. It's been out for a minute, so really fun. I made it. I'm at Thrift Books.
Hell yeah, that's when you know.
Absolutely. Oh man, yeah. There's audio versions. The website, I can get you a signed copy. I'll do a little signature and stuff for you. It's kind of fun. Send some stickers. I have Bible Says What stickers. I've got Firebrand stickers. I got all kinds of shenanigans. So yeah,
that's awesome. So go to thebiblesayswhat.com, everybody, and buy all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Michael, so thank you so much for coming on, man. This is just like a quick little interview, but I'm so glad to have you on, man. This is a lot of fun.
Love it, man. Always enjoy talking with you.
Well, yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for watching, and we're gonna head over to Michael's show now, and so keep an eye out for his show coming on.
We'll like the sector stew, only with a bit more roasting, probably getting a bit more toasted, and it's only us two. And I'm Brently, I bring the crazy, while Benjamin provides the puns. We're not afraid to say it plainly. We're a couple anti-fascist dudes.